say about its power level?
It's over 9,000!
What, 9,000? There's no way that can be right! Can it?
I think it's right. After all, I was trained in the art of KO.
Okay folks, so why am I making this video? Pretty much because I stuffed up. How I stuffed up is I was riding the 9-bot ES4 scooter and literally I was in an isolated bike track and I ran out of batteries, literally. Obviously I wasn't paying an actual attention. I had my headphones on, just listening to music, and it died. The thing with the actual 9-bot ES4 is, one thing, it's got a massive actual battery, so it's rated for, 45 kilometers. It's absolutely crazy. So that's actually 28 miles. So when you actually think about it, you're not really thinking about it. You're just riding along, doing your own thing. And literally, because there's no voltage there's very low actual voltage sag on the actual scooter itself, I didn't realize. And obviously, middle of nowhere, even if I had the power adapter in my bag, it wasn't going to do anything because there wasn't actually a power outlet anywhere nearby. So it got me thinking. I was just like, what can I do to actually fix this? So this is what we're going to do in this video. Okay, so we're going to be charging with this guy. So this is the Saoki Portable Solar Generator S270. And we're going to be using this actual device to actually charge the actual scooter. So first things first, I'm not sponsored by these guys. I haven't been given the actual device by the manufacturers. I bought this out of my own pocket, so any opinions that I'm going to have is going to be my own. So just remember that there's going to be a full review of this device coming actually soon, but in the purpose of this actual video, this is what we'll be using. So this is the actual device itself. So as you see, very tiny. It's one of the reasons why I actually bought it. So just a little actual power indicator there, which you will see in the actual video itself. It indicates the actual power actual level. And one of the reasons why I've actually chosen this, actually 3 reasons why I've actually chosen this actual device to actually use in actual test. It's one thing, it's tiny. So this only weighs 1.3 kilograms, so roughly 2.5 actual pounds. Pretty light. I throw that in the bottom of my actual backpack riding around. I don't even feel it in that case. So first things first is its battery capacity. So this thing actually has quite a lot of actual power. So we're talking 150 watt hours. So quite a considerable amount, and it's probably the reason why I've actually bought it as well. Second thing, it's got an actual AC output port. So this thing is rated at 150 watts, so quite a considerable amount of extra power. 100 watts continuous. So this is a modified sine wave actual port, so its uses are going to be limited to actual certain devices, but the actual fact that it produces this actual power output is quite impressive. And the third thing is, I find it probably very important, especially if you're charging on the actual go and at high actual power levels, energy levels, it's actually ventilated. So if you've got like an actual fan that actually blows hot air out of the system. Obviously, if you've got a device that has a portable inverter in the actual device, it's because the actual changes in the actual wattage and amperage, you are going to generate quite a lot of heat, and most actual devices will have temperature actual protection on the actual battery, so if it overheats, it will shut off the actual device. This actually minimizes that, so you can draw a lot more power for an extended period of time by ventilating out that actual heat. And that's going to be very important when charging something such as large as this scooter here. So as I said, it's proper to review of this device coming quite soon. So heads out on actually this one, but let's head back to the actual video. Okay guys, so back to the actual video. As you can see, we have a time-lapse actual video of the actual scooter actually charging off the actual battery. So while we're waiting for it to actually finish, so obviously what we're going to do is we're going to just look at the actual rate of actual charge, how much power I'm able to get out of the actual battery, and how long it actually takes. So obviously, if you're in the middle of actual nowhere, you can still ride the scooter as a normal scooter, because obviously there's a brushless actual motor in there. So as long as you've actually provided like enough actual force, you can ride this as a normal scooter as long as you've got enough momentum. But you do have to realize that the ES4, because of the actual battery, and because it's an electronic scooter, it is going to take a bit more force to actually get started. But once you get rolling, it should be okay. But that really kind of beats the actual point of having an electric scooter, because technically you're not riding as a normal scooter. So obviously it's not going to help you if you're out in the middle of nowhere and you're very far from your actual vehicle, which I was. So I was pumping away for literally kilometers to actually get back, and I was like, obviously, so what can I actually do? So obviously at home, I had the actual solar actual battery actual generator that I've actually had at home. I didn't use it to actually go actual camping or when I'm out and I've got a cooler actual fridge. So I was like, okay, let's actually use this and see if I can actually do it. And obviously, if you are in an actual rush, like you don't want to be sitting outside, you know, for like hours and waiting for the actual charge. So I was very curious to see how much energy I could get in a short period of time, because obviously these devices are designed for the last mile actual transport. So obviously you should better get to like public transport, get back to your actual vehicle. Most people aren't like myself. I tend to push things as hard as you can, and obviously that's where I went wrong. Obviously, this is a major actual problem moving into the actual future, because everything is going electronic. So we've got electric cars popping up everywhere. Thank Tesla for that. We've got obviously, you know, electric bikes. You've got electric skateboards, unicycles, you name it. Power is going to be the ultimate actual bottleneck in the actual future, and if you don't have power, you're not going to get anywhere. So it'd be very curious to see how this actually goes, and we want to answer the question: is this possible, and is it an actual viable actual way of, if you're in an emergency, or obviously you're in the middle of actual nowhere. So it is going to be really interesting. So we'll wait until it actually finishes, and it's when we're gonna look at the actual the actual charging actual graph to see if what the actual battery management system actually does. Because obviously you've got very low voltage actual sag, so you will see this in one of my later actual videos when I'm actually riding. You don't notice actual voltage sag on this device until it's very low actual percentage. So I'm really curious to see what type of actual batteries they're currently using in the actual scooter. Maybe it's these Samsung 30Qs, maybe they've moved on to the actual DU40Qs, but I'm believing it's a 10S 2P, maybe a 3P configuration, but obviously very big battery inside this actual scooter. So let's see how we go. So as you can see, the scooter has just finished actually charging. So what would actually happen is the actual scooter will actually shut down and actually restart, and you'll get an actual flash on the actual screen. And the very important thing is, if you are charging this at work, literally the actual scooter will actually like restart itself and stay on. So just beware if you're charging at work. As soon as it finishes charging, just flip the actual switch. So thank God for actually time-lapse actual video, because as you can see, this took quite a while, so almost like 90 minutes. So when you think about it, you're obviously not going to be charging to the actual full battery if you're in an emergency. Obviously, I was riding with my actual backpack. I had like food on me actually, so technically I could have actually like sat on the actual side of the path, or just found a nice bench and had lunch. So now what we're going to do is we're going to look at the actual numbers and see what we find. Okay, so now looking at the final actual charge curve. So my Excel spreadsheet skills aside, this is what it actually just looks like. So first things first is we've started at 5% because I've actually ran down the actual scooter to when it was to when it actually stopped working. So at 5%, the scooter is running at pretty much walking actual pace, and it's pretty much unusable. With most lithium ion actual batteries, you only want to discharge the actual battery to roughly about 20% and charge up to a maximum of 80%. So that actually decreases the actual stress on the actual battery, and also increases the actual lifespan and the actual the amount of cycles that you can actually get out of lithium ion actual batteries. So I believe these batteries are rated for roughly about 500 to 1,000 cycles. So if you're only charging like once an actual week, the scooter, if you actually take care of it, it could last you up to literally 10 years. So see how you. So when you're just looking at the actual curve itself, like you see that it is quite linear. So besides from that small little ramp from 5 to actual 15, most of the actual curve is actually quite linear. So that's actually a good thing, and it also simplifies it in actual just a little bit as well. So the good thing is, while actually charging, I actually measured just using an actual watt meter, so I could see how many actual watts the actual system was drawing out and going into the actual charger itself. So I think it actually peaked at 71, so the actual charger is rated at 72, and at its lowest point it was charging at 68. So you are roughly, besides from the small margin of error, you're actually getting the full actual capacity of the actual charger into the actual system. The great thing is because it's linear to roughly about 35% actual charge, so roughly getting 30% into the actual battery. So for the actual first 53 actual minutes, you're actually getting the full actual draw of the actual battery into the actual scooter itself. Obviously, if you're in an actual rush, you don't want to actually be charging for that long, because obviously, like you want to get to your actual destination faster, or back to your actual vehicle as fast as you can. Obviously, from that actual 35 actual percent actual charge, you do get like a little bit of actual tapering off. Wherever the actual plateaus would be interesting. If you're actually interested, I actually might do like another actual video just looking at a full actual charge cycle, because technically the actual scooter is rated for a full charge of 7 hours. I don't think that's exactly the actual case, and for curious sake, I actually might just do it, even if you guys aren't interested. So hope this actually helps. So what we're going to actually look down is actual details of the actual charging, and I'll be putting that into an actual table. So here we have it, the final actual charge results. So first things first, we're going to look. So the full actual capacity of the scooter is 370 actual watt hours. The actual full actual capacity of the actual solar battery is actually 150 actual watt hours. So I actually wanted to see how much power I could actually draw into the actual scooter at a full actual charge. So as I said before, the full scooter using the official actual charger from actual start to actual finish. So if you fully discharge the actual battery and charge to the actual maximum, is roughly 7 hours. So if the actual graph was actual linear and you're putting 71 actual watts into it, obviously it would take less than actual 7 actual hours. So I'm assuming that the actual battery management system is actually doing something to actually protect the actual battery, to whether it's actually it's monitoring the actual temperature of the actual battery it actual self. I'm assuming that it's probably as I can see that from these early results, it is not just a linear actual curve. It might be actual sigmoidal in this case, but it'll be roughly it's multiple actual charging actual peaks of the actual curve itself. But if you guys do want to see like a full actual charge video, I probably will do it actually to one next, because I'm pretty curious like an actual look about it. So technically, so in this actual experiment on the actual battery, we managed to draw out 37% full charge into the ES4 actual battery. So looking at that, that's actually pretty impressive, because we're actually getting a 92% efficiency out of the actual solar actual battery. So that's so obviously you are losing some of it, converting the actual voltages through the actual internal actual inverter. You're losing that, some of it as heat. But I was quite impressed with it. I was getting 92%. So we actually drew out 130 actual watt hours, and out of that 138 of that actual watt hours went into the actual scooter itself, and it did that in just under actual 90 actual minutes. So I was really actual impressed. And when I was actually measuring it using the actual watt meter, I was getting like 90 between 68 and 71 actual watts. So the charger was working as actually specified, and the power was actually going in there. So typically with this scooter, you have a typical range of 45 kilometers. Obviously, this is under perfect actual testing conditions. So they probably had an actual rider that weighed 70 kilograms. Obviously, perfect ambient actual temperature and on flat actual smooth actual ground. Obviously, this number is going to vary depending on obviously like your weight, your height, how you actually ride the actual scooter, the actual terrain, the actual temperature, like you name it. There's going to be a lot of actual factors, and I'll be exploring that probably in another actual video, which I'll be riding it at different speeds, or I might even do like a hyper actual smiling actual video just to see how far I can go. Obviously, I don't weigh that 70 actual kilograms. I think I'm closer to 80 actual kilograms. So take this. These numbers down actual bottom with an actual grain of actual salt. It's pretty much more of an estimation if you're looking at perfect actual riding actual conditions. So your results may vary, but I find it helpful for myself, because while actually riding over the first couple of cycles, I was getting very close to that 45 kilometer actual range. So these values are relevant to actually me, because I can probably actually use these numbers in the actual future. So what I've got here is the actual charge time from the actual battery itself, and a close actual estimate to how much actual percent of the actual scooter that was actually added into the actual battery itself. And I've converted that to the actual range that I would actually get from the actual scooter, like actually to workable actual range, because up below that 5% like actual charge, it is operating at pretty much a very low speed, and you're probably better off just using it as a regular actual scooter itself. So I've got it at 2, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 and 35. And the reason why I've got these numbers, because obviously if you're out there, like you don't want to be actually waiting for an extended period of extra time, especially if you're in an emergency or you're a bit worried actually to get back to your actual point of actual travel or to like your actual vehicle. Myself, I was actually out there. I actually had actual food on me, so I could probably actually sit there and actually have a bite to eat, flip through my phone for about a couple of minutes, and just wait for this actual thing to actually charge. So in that actual instance, I was probably about 3.5 kilometers away from my actual vehicle. So just looking at the actual results, pretty much I could have just sat on the actual beside of the actual path, charged for actual 10 minutes. So I could probably be on my social media actual feeds for the actual 10 minutes, and I would have got enough charge in the actual scooter to get back to my actual vehicle. So it is quite impressive, this actual battery, and also it also answers the actual question. It's like, can I use this in an actual like an emergency? And the obvious answer is actually yes. Yeah, and I'm actually happy that I've actually found this out, and I will be carrying this in my actual backpack pretty much from actual now on. It's actually relatively light. It's, as I said before, 1.3 kilograms, so probably at two and a bit actual pounds. So it's not relatively heavy. And in actual fact, I'll be doing an actual proper review on this actual like device, because I find it quite actual like impressive. Like the other numbers that I've got on the actual bottom here, I've put down the 53-minute actual time, because that's basically the maximum actual charge rate in which the actual curve is actually still linear, so you actually can full actual charge out of that actual charger, and you're actually adding 30% into actual battery. So as you will record, ES4 actually contains two actual these batteries, so that's the reason why it's got so much actual power. So it's roughly just under 0.4 actual kilowatts. So when you think about that's a lot of actual power. The actual fact that this thing goes so far that in that 53 minutes you're literally getting 13.5 kilometers extra range, or 8 miles. So that's quite impressive. So like a full charge at an actual battery took 88 minutes. So that's 30% of the actual battery. So you're actually getting 16 kilometers. Like you think about that, that's quite actual impressive. So anyway, I hope you actually liked that actual video. As I said, take these numbers with an actual grain of salt, because it will vary depending on how much you actually weigh and how you actually ride the sorts. Obviously you're a lot heavier, your results would be actually much reduced. If you're much lighter, obviously these numbers are going to be much higher. So I wonder if for example my actual wife, and she's actually a lot lighter than I am, she could probably be riding this for beyond that 45 kilometer range. So really actually interesting. So I hope you actually enjoyed that actual video, and I'll see you guys next time. Alright, cheers.